free.
One of heliocentrists' favorite supposed proofs of their ball Earth theory is the ability for ships and planes to circumnavigate, to sail or fly at right angles to the North Pole, and eventually return to their original location. Since the North Pole and Antarctica are covered in ice and guarded no-fly zones, however, no ships or planes have ever been known to circumnavigate the Earth in north-south directions, only east-west. And herein lies the rub. East or westbound circumnavigation can just as easily be performed on a flat plane as it can on a globular sphere. Just as a compass can place its center point on a flat piece of paper and trace a circle either way around the pole, so can a ship or plane circumnavigate a flat Earth. The only kind of circumnavigation which could not happen on a flat Earth is north-south bound, which is likely the very reason for the heavily enforced flight restrictions. Flight restrictions originating from none other than the United Nations, the same United Nations which haughtily uses the flat Earth map as its official logo and flag. David Wardlaw Scott says, "Circular sailing no more proves the world to be a globe than an equilateral triangle. The sailing round the world would of course take very much longer, but in principle it is exactly the same as that of the yachtsman circumnavigating the Isle of Wight. Let me give a simple illustration. A boy wants to sail his iron toy boat by a magnet, so he gets a basin, in the middle of which he places a soap dish or anything else which he may think suitable to represent the earth, and then fills the basin with water to display the sea. He puts his boat and draws it by the magnet round his little world, but the boat never passes over the rim to sail under the basin, as if that were globular, instead of being simply circular. So is it in this world of ours. From the extreme south we can sail from east to west or from west to east around it, but we cannot sail from north to south or from south to north, for we cannot break through intervening lands, nor pass the impenetrable ramparts of ice and rocks which enclose the great southern circumference." Samuel Rowbotham says, "A very good illustration of the circumnavigation of a plane will be seen by taking a round table and fixing a pin in the center to represent the magnetic pole. To this central pin attach a string drawn out to any distance towards the edge of the table. This string may represent the meridian of Greenwich, extending due north and south. If now a pencil or other object is placed across or at right angles to the string, at any distance between the center and the circumference of the table, it will represent a vessel standing due east and west. Now move the pencil and the string together in either direction, and it will be seen that by keeping the vessel or pencil square to the string, it must of necessity describe a circle round the magnetic center and return to the starting point in the opposite direction to that in which it first sailed." So the ball earther's logical argument is that only a globe can be circumnavigated, the Earth has been circumnavigated, and therefore the Earth is a globe. This is indeed a logical modus ponens statement, but the conclusion is rendered invalid because the first premise, that only a globe can be circumnavigated, is categorically false. Another similarly logical but unsound argument ball earthers make is that only on a globe would one gain or lose time when sailing or flying east or west. Time is gained or lost when sailing or flying east to west, and therefore the Earth is a globe. Again, the logical conclusion is rendered invalid, and the argument unsound because the first premise is incorrect. The same effect would be experienced on a stationary flat Earth as it would on a spinning ball Earth. William Carpenter says, "The sun, as he travels round over the surface of the earth, brings noon to all places on the successive meridians which he crosses. His journey being made in a westerly direction, places east of the sun's positions have had their noon, whilst places to the west of the sun's position have still yet to get it. Therefore, if we travel easterly, we arrive at those parts of the earth where time is more advanced. The watch in our pocket has to be put on, or we may be said to gain time. If, on the other hand, we travel westerly, we arrive at places where it is still morning, the watch has to be put back, and it may be said that we lose time. But if we travel easterly so as to cross the 180th meridian, there is a loss there of a day, which will neutralize the gain of a whole circumnavigation. And if we travel westerly and cross the same meridian, we experience the gain of a day, which will compensate for the loss during a complete circumnavigation in that direction. The fact of losing or gaining time in sailing round the world, then instead of being evidence of the earth's rotundity as it is imagined to be, is in its practical exemplification an everlasting proof that the earth is not a globe.
New life. This is my new life. Now I'm free again.